What is up, bros? Welcome back to another episode of Porchtime. Behind the camera today is my lovely assistant, my co-host from the West Coast, aka Steve West Coast Cummings. Today, my special guest is the lovely, the handsome, the freshly beardless Gant Garner. So Gant is like the CEO of development around here. I think that's your title. Like, you basically develop everything. Anything good that's happened, he develops it. I don't know what goes on in development. I just know it sounds really important.
My people develop.
Your people develop it.
My team develops.
My team, yeah.
Yep.
So it just sounds really cool. It sounds important. So when you have a title like that, you got to share. So, a couple things. Today's podcast is brought to you by Tree Ranger Beard Oil. Just a few small drops on your beard keeps it looking luscious and soft.
Smell good.
Here,
it's
listen.
all based on how it smells.
Smell this.
Masculine, definitely masculine.
It smells like you jumped in a pine tree.
That's good smell.
Oh my gosh. But with no sap on you. So, listen, for those of you who are stepping into the No Shave November game, Tree Ranger Beard Oil, stop by, find it at your local retailer. Delicious. Don't drink that. So it smells good.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so what we want to talk about today is pretty important. Let me read you this verse out of the Bible. So 2 Corinthians 12, Paul says this. He says, so to keep me from becoming conceited, because of the surpassing greatness of the revelations, a thorn was given me in the flesh, a messenger of Satan to harass me, to keep me from becoming conceited. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this, that it should leave me, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I'm content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I'm strong. So, I've been thinking about this lately. We do not believe this as men. We run from the places where God has promised to meet us. He says he will meet us not in our strength, not in the moments we have it all together, but he actually says, I'm going to show up when you don't have it all together. And that's actually when you're going to be strong, because my strength is perfect for you. So one of the things we're going to be doing over the next several weeks is these episodes, and we invite dudes on to chat with you, is we're going to talk about our weaknesses as men. We're going to be boasting about those things. So when Gant said, what am I talking about today? I go, your weaknesses. And I basically explained to him our media department is non-existent, so we don't even have an editing staff. So he's like, well, how many takes do I get? 0. So please welcome to the stage, Gant.
Thank you.
Gant, talk to us about your weaknesses.
Weaknesses. Making on-live videos was going to be one of my weaknesses.
Not anymore. That's in the past.
That's in the past. Because we're doing this one.
Yeah.
If I were to say, really, there's a lot of things I could pick from when it comes to my weaknesses. But one of the weaknesses that I really have is I'm afraid to be successful. And for me, what that looks like is I'm scared to take risks. Some risks that know that God will meet me out there where I'm at. He's already promised He's going to take care of things. But just because of who I am and how I deal with failure, I really struggle with that.
Because if we don't take risks, we don't fail.
That's right.
So we kind of future-proof. We think we're future-proofing our success, but in reality, we stay stuck in mediocrity and become discontent as men.
Yeah. Another thing is I have a hard time letting go of things and moving to the next journey. A guy told me one time, if you're in a room and there's 2 doors and you got to go from one side of the room to the other, you got to actually let go of the handle of one door and move across the room to the other door where things are ready for you. And so I have a tendency to cling to things because I'm afraid to fail. I get real conservative in my approaches. I'm afraid people aren't going to like what I do. I'm afraid of messing things up and how that's going to impact other people. So I take a lot of blame for that. But yeah.
But isn't it funny, the older we get, the less risk we like to assume? Isn't it interesting? Like, it seems like the older we get, we start playing it safe for some reason. When you would think, given our experience and track record of God's faithfulness behind us, we should be more willing to take steps of faith and risk that faith, but for some reason we don't.
It's so easy to forget God's faithfulness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can look back and you can say, yeah, I can see where God kind of worked in my life here, but
that was then.
But that was then.
That was then.
It's not now. I think about all the stuff I've done since then, and you know what? He's not going to come through this time. It doesn't matter. He's shown me over and over and over and over and over again. I still run back to yesterday sometimes.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine over the weekend, and he was speaking at a men's retreat, and the big theme was just God's faithfulness. And I said, isn't it interesting we grow tired of hearing that, when in reality, that's the thing we need to hear most. God is faithful. God was faithful. God will be faithful in our future. And yet, for some reason, we're so short-sighted and forgetful. And it's like God could have parted the Red Sea yesterday, but it's like, yeah, but today.
But today.
But today, I mean, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I screwed up today. I
Yeah.
messed up today, and there's no way that God can really come through, specifically if I'm messing up in my own life right now. That somehow He's waiting for me to kind of get my act together before He'll come through and do some things for me.
Yeah, so I don't know where that finds you today. I love that idea of talking about our weaknesses, and we ask our guys all the time, like, are you content with your weaknesses yet? Most of us are just trying to tolerate them, and Paul says, I'm content with them. I just love that idea. So I don't know where it finds you this week, but I want to challenge you, kind of like what Gant was saying, risk some faith today. Take a step of faith. And for you, it may feel like a tiny baby step. Take a step of faith today. Ask the Holy Spirit to show you where that is, and then to give you the courage to do it. I'm praying you would have the courage to do it.
Take a risk.
But let's be men who have the audacity to believe that God is who He says He is. I love Andy Stanley says, what would you do today if you were 100% confident that God was with you? And I'm like, boy, that's a great question, but it's just like, yeah, we just kind of filtered away on the timeline of our great quotes, and we don't really do anything with it. But I'm going, what a brilliant question. Yeah. So other than that, my beard's looking good.
It is looking good.
I'm trying to step it up for No Shave November. Tell them about the thing we're doing next Friday, because something tells me there's some dudes out there that have not RSVP'd, and they hear us flap our teeth every week about RSVP, and they go, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And they just kind of filter it out.
Yeah.
So talk to these guys about how awesome this event's going to be, what they need to do to sign up, and what's going to happen to them if they miss it.
Well, if you miss it, I'm sorry. It's going to be one of the top things that we've ever done. We've never done this before.
Yeah.
But basically, Friday night, November the 2nd, it's going to be all about celebrating what God has done. It's not a donor event. It's not a partner event. It's just for those of us that have walked through this life and demonstrated God's faithfulness with our wives, with our teams. And we're just going to spend some time celebrating together, and it's going to be absolutely awesome.
Yeah. So if you miss it, what we've been telling the guys is you just get diarrhea. Like, that's just
pretty
what's
much.
gonna- And you'll wake up that next Sunday, you'll be in church, and you'll get hit with this wave of conviction. You don't know where it's going to come from or what it's there for, but that's just the Holy Spirit telling you should have been there. You should have been at the event.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Steve, do we tell them about the live stream thing? Should we not tell them about that? We won't tell them about. Just tune in for next week.
Next week, actually.
Tune in next
About
week.
next Wednesday.
Yeah. We've got some fun things.
Got some more announcements to come.
And we've also got some swag that's fixing to be. I'm looking at Steve. Like, I don't know why I'm looking at Steve. I was looking at him. Yes, there it is. We got some swag coming down the pipeline. For those of you senior adults, or like you guys in Canada, on merchandise.
Yes, merchandise.
Branded merchandise for you senior adults. So, anyways, I think that about covers it. Man, Gant, thanks for stopping by the porch today, brother.
Well, thanks for letting me come and hang out a little bit.
Yeah.
Address one of my fears.
You did it.
I did.
You took a risk today.
Awesome.
All right, kids, until next time, man, get off our porch.